MMA Locker Room, part of Pub Sports Radio here.
Hey, how's it feel to put on a star-studded event like this?
We got MMA royalty standing next to you. We got the man, Aaron Jeffery, and we got the champ with us right now. Pitbull's in the building.
Kicking ass, taking names.
Let's put it on the 666. There you go. Take me into the locker room with you. When you're walking into that octagon where they announce your opponent, how do you feel when you're going today?
I'm just going to go in there and do my thing, and I think the finish will come.
Having your friends and family out there is like the whole other feeling.
I've been a part of a lot of great fights, I feel, in my career, and some I was just working when I was working for K1. We had so many great moments. I've watched so many great fights, and in Strikeforce we've had so many great fights in that company, and I think this is the one. This is the one that you kind of checks the box.
Yes, sir. We're right back at it. MMA Locker Room here, seconds out. Don't worry about them other shows. We're the best out. Hey, it's only right, man. We got a big event coming up in a few weeks. In a few days from now. MMA is going to be going on out there in Ireland, so you got a stacked card in there, a few title fights on there to talk about, and then you got a number one title fight that's going to be on that card as well. But we just wrapped up UFC 299. What a time to be alive. I'm going to start off with shout out to Dustin Diamond Poirier. I mean, didn't he just show everybody he's that guy, Dustin Diamond Poirier, and everybody was writing him off, saying that he looked like he was done and he was finished? Don't worry about that, man. He came through and showed everybody, man. He still got a lot to fight for. What about Sugar Sean O'Malley, man? I mean, but what about it, though? We all knew he was going to win, but we didn't know he was going to win like that. I mean, god damn, he just dominated the fight out there. I mean, did Cheeto Vera even show up? Did he? All right, man. But hey, man, he got his props. He got to fight for the title, man. We had a few other good fights on there to talk about too. But hey, man, we'll talk about that later. This week coming up, we got Tai Tuivasa taking on Marcin Tybura. Two big heavyweights in there, man. It could go either way. You got Tuivasa looking like a -120 favorite. How you guys betting on it? Who cares? Hey, if you want $100, this is what you need to do. Come on over to our live streams on Saturday. We're going to have over 300 live viewers in there. And all you got to do is enter your picks in our contest. And if you win $100. Plain and simple. Sign up at pubsportsradio.com. All right, man. So over here at Seconds Out, we like to give you guys the fighters right before they, walk out to that cage or that octagon or that ring. Sometimes it's seconds out, it's days out. In this case, I think it's about 10 days out in this case. So the guy got backstage, though. Let's just talk about it real quick. I mean, 14-4 record. Fights in Bellator, but you guys might have seen him before because, he did have a few fights on the Contender Series. Let's just go ahead and bring him on. 14-4, Aaron Jeffery, Mr. Night Sleep. Welcome to the show.
What's up, bro?
How's it going, man? Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Good, man. I like to do a little timestamp over here, let the people know where we're at right now. Right now, I'm in California, Lake Elsinore. It's about 4:07. Where you at right now? What you got going?
I'm in Niagara Falls, Canada.
Got it. And did you already get your workouts done for the day?
Yes, sir. I just came home from the second one.
Got it. So when you're coming into fight camp with being a few days out, what are you guys like prioritizing right now? Like, is it kind of looking at the guys' weaknesses? Is it you just going off of your game plan, or is it just putting on the fine little tips that you need for your camp?
Pretty much all of the above, man. I was down in Florida at Killcliff for 4 weeks of camp, and I did most of the hard scrapping there. Obviously, it's like a big gym. It's a super gym. There's tons of high-level guys. Bellator, PFL, UFC, like top 10 guys. So I did most of the hard rounds down there, scrapping. I've been home for a couple weeks now, just kind of, like you said, cleaning things up with my coaches, focusing on game plan shit, watching a little bit of tape here and there, and just staying healthy.
Got it. So when you're watching that tape study on your opponent, Fabian Edwards, Are you doing that by yourself sometimes, or are you just doing that when you're kind of at gym in that workout mentality, or do you find yourself, just pulling out the phone and being like, you know what, let me see what he's doing on his Instagram, or let me go back and watch this fight with him there?
I don't check out the Instagram too much. I'll get shit sent to me every once in a while, but I mean, there's not much for me to see there. I'm not gonna fucking see his gameplay on Instagram, right? But no, it's mostly just watching like old fights and shit. And yeah, a little bit of both. Sometimes I'm watching at home, sometimes at the gym with the coaches.
Let me ask you. So you said you get sometimes people send stuff to you. Do random fans or people send you stuff maybe that might give you the advantage? Like, hey, look at what happened in this fight right here. Because I tend to seem that like when people got fans, it seems like they're sending them like the predictions of people saying this is how you can beat them and stuff like that. Do you get ever stuff sent to you from like actually people like that?
Yeah, I haven't for this one, but I have in the past, man. I had a random guy. I don't even know if I know who he is anymore. Before the Vanderford fight, actually, he was like clipping fights. He was sending me like little clips and breaking it all down for me. He sent me like 20 little clips and like was telling me what he was doing and shit. And I was like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is. He could be nobody. He might not know anything about fighting. Like, obviously, he's a fan of the sport, but I'm not digging too deep into stuff that random send me on Instagram.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, man. You never know, man. They could be acting like they're baiting you into it and then, trying to set you up to look for something else. And, who knows out there, man. But speaking about MMA fans and stuff like that, like, what are some of like the worst things that some of the MMA fans sent you?
Typical shit. After the Salter fight was pretty bad, and after my second Contender Series fight was pretty bad, but it's guys that lose bets and they're fucking pissed and they think it's your fault, right? And they, I don't know, quit the sport. I don't know who's telling you you're good at this, but you're not. Like, it's time for you to fucking hang them up. Yeah, just shit like that. The usual.
So I want to talk about this though. So when you guys get into that cage for 15 minutes to 25 minutes, I mean, adrenaline is going through the roof at that time, and then you get the win. Let's just talk about the last fight, against Dalton Broster. You come out there in media day, seem like you're on a sky high level. Nobody could tell you anything. Adrenaline's high and everything. Then next thing you know, Monday comes around and you're just back at the grocery store or in Target picking up items and nobody knows that, hey man, this was the guy that was just in a 15-minute cage fight. How's that shift in everything from going from beating somebody up, to wanting to kill him to just walking out the next day and to just get your groceries in the grocery store?
Yeah, it's weird, man. You hear guys talk about like post-fight depression and shit. I wouldn't say I'm like depressed after, but there's a hangover. It's like even similar, like if you went to like a sick party on the weekend or like a fun concert or whatever, and the next week you're doing the same shit. You're at the grocery store and you're like, fuck, man, I wish I could do that again, but it's gone. Like you can't live in that moment forever, right? Like you can be happy about it and reminisce and shit, but like it's gone and you're on to the next one.
Yeah, especially, man. And it seems like when it comes down to it, like the accolades that the typical sports player gets, that's playing on a basketball team that might play 3 games a week or something like that, they get more attention and, you can wash away the bad game. With fighters out here, sometimes you get one fight, you might be on the show for like 5 to 6 months. And, you just got to sit with that sometimes, and that could definitely be taking a toll on the fighter, right?
Yeah, man, coming off a loss sucks. Like you said, sometimes you're sitting on it for a few months, and if you're coming off a loss, it fucking hangs over your head, man. It's like you just want to get it back, and yeah, like you don't get anything booked for a while, and you just think about it and you stew. It's shitty.
And how is it when you're coming off of a win in a fight that you're an underdog in, to where everybody's pointing at the other guy and saying, hey, he's the next best guy, and you just dust him 2 rounds to 1? How does that feel?
It's good, man. But again, you can't live in the moment forever, right? Like it's in the past now and you got to look at what's next. And I got another guy in front of me now, so I'm not thinking about the last one.
Got it. So let's speak about it though. Fabian Edwards coming into this fight. They say whoever wins this one, it's a #1 title contention on the line. So Are you doing anything extra with those restrictions on the line, or are you just going out there the same game plan that you've been having?
Same shit, man. Every fight's a big one, whether it's the contender fight or my last fight. I was coming off a loss. The one before that, they were almost saying that was a contender's fight too. Everyone was saying if you beat John Salter, you might get a title shot. The one before that was against Vanderford on 8 days' notice. He was ranked number 2. So, I mean, they're all big fights, man. Like, you're in the top 10 in one of the big promotions. Every guy's tough. They're all big fights. They're all high stakes. So, no, it's just another fight.
And something you just mentioned, top 10, and fighting for the belt. Let me ask this question and pose it. What's more important to you at this point? Would you rather hold a belt in PFL or Bellator, or would you rather be top 5 in UFC ranking?
I mean, I might have given a different answer like 10 years ago or something, but at this point, I'm 31 years old. I don't have like 10 or 12 years left in my career, probably, right? Unless I'm real lucky. So at this point, it's like whatever's making me money. And I think that's probably having the belt in the Bellator or PFL.
That makes sense. That makes sense. And looking at some of the fighters that just left the promotion, coming over to UFC as of late, were you able to watch that Michael Venom Page fight last week against Kevin Holland?
I didn't see that one, actually.
Got it. Yeah. No, he was able to pretty much do the same thing that he was doing in Bellator, right in the UFC cage against
him. Was it a good fight or was it uneventful?
It was a Michael Venom Page fight. You know.
Yeah.
He usually makes it look so kind of effortlessly, in his approach, and it makes it look like he's not getting stricken in a fight. So kind of like that Mayweather approach when it comes to boxing with defense. They're like, are we entertained or not? But I thought it was impressive. I thought it was pretty impressive though for Michael Venom Page as of late. I thought it was pretty impressive though.
Cool.
So let's speak about some other things real quick. One thing I want to talk about. All right, so Elias Theodorus, can you talk about what he meant to you and the impact that he left on the whole Canadian scene out there?
Yeah, he was like a big brother to me in the sport. I think when I met him, he had just won the Ultimate Fighter, and I had only had a couple pro fights. So he was someone to look up to. Like, he had done a lot of things already that I wanted to do in the sport. And he kind of took me under his wing a little bit, took me on some different fight trips with him, took me to different gyms, different training camps, that kind of shit. And we became close friends. And yeah, it's super unfortunate what happened. Everyone that knows him knows how great of a guy he was. I've never heard anyone really say any bad things about him. Just good energy kind of guy that everyone wanted to be around.
What about I was thinking about this, kind of got the long hair similarities. I mean, I remember he used to help out Invicta, as the little ring man and stuff like that. You ever thought about maybe, picking up the Invicta card and, saying, hey, man, this is for you out here. Let's keep the tradition going alive?
No, man. Elias was a little bit more flamboyant than me. He filled some roles that I don't think I'm appropriate for.
Got it, man. Yeah, man. All right. So speaking about some of the Canadian fighters, man, how does it feel? I feel like this. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you're the #1 Canadian MMA fighter who Ariel Helwani was even trying to push. He had you on the MMA Hour, I want to say, what was it, last year and stuff, and you being on there gave the notoriety a little bit about, hey, this is an exciting, entertaining Canadian fighter, and then after that, of course, the likes of Mike Mallet started coming out, Jasmine Gervasius and stuff like that. But I actually feel like you're that guy who's kind of pushing that envelope. Do you feel the same way?
I think I am for sure, but I think those other two that you just named are also up there. Like Mike and Jazz. Obviously, Mikey's coming off that unfortunate loss, but I mean, he's right on the cusp of the top 15 in the UFC. He pretty much had that fight won and just kind of fell apart at the end. But I mean, like everyone knows how good he is. I think he's got 2 or 3 finishes in the UFC, and then pretty much beat Neil Magny for 14 minutes out of the 15-minute fight and looked fucking good the whole time. And then Jazz too. I don't know if she's ranked right now, but she has been, and she's right on the cusp too. So yeah, we got some solid Canadian talent at our gym, man, and it's cool.
Yeah, man, it definitely is, man. It seems like that Niagara top team, we're kind of seeing them all flourishing and all working together, and they're all rising together. So that's one thing that you notice out there in you know, some of the better gyms out here. You know, it seems like it's not just that one pupil; it's the other fighters too that's actually doing good with them. So good to see that. So let me ask you, why not hop on an airplane to Kill Cliff? Why is it that it seems like you're always driving these 3-day trips?
I like it, man. I would rather sit in the car for 20 hours than do like a 6-hour day of like airports and airplanes and shit. I don't know. It's nice. Road trips are cool. It's a nice drive down to Florida. If I'm going down there for like a month or 2 months, I need to bring a lot of shit. I got all my training gear. I got all my gym clothes. I got all my regular clothes. I'm bringing other shit. So it's easy just to pack my van full of shit and drive down there. And then I have a car when I'm down there too. Like renting a car is expensive. So yeah, there's a few things that I like about it. If I could bring my fucking minivan to Ireland, I would.
Damn, that would be a forever trip. Like, I mean, I'm talking about just a never-ending story trip on that one. Yeah, man. So what is it about a minivan that gets everybody like in love with him? I mean, Gardner Minshew, a football player, travels everywhere in his minivan, and it's like the coolest thing about it. Like, what is it about a minivan that got you just, you know, not want to get out of it and get rid of it?
Well, it was cheap when I got it. That was the number one reason. And again, I'm doing these road trips. I'm packing it full of stuff, man. It's got tons of space. It's got stow and go seats. I throw them in the floor. The back's all empty. I pack it full of shit. Every once in a while on the drive, we'll like clean out a little spot back there. I can fucking lay down and snooze while my girl drives. So it's nice.
Got it, man. Let me talk about your few fights real quick on the Contender Series. You know, fought some tough competitors, man. Even before that, I mean, your fight with Sean Brady, you know, on the other regional scenes. I mean, when it looks about it right, your fight resume is pretty much right there with the best people in the division. You know, fight against Brandon Allen, fight against Cairo Berhilo. Being on the Ultimate Fighter, I mean, being on the Contender Series 2 times like that, what was it like afterwards to actually just, hey, pick everything back up and just get back to it and say, hey, you know what? I'm not stopping. I'm just going this route.
It was tough, man. Like the second time fucking sucked, obviously. Like I lost the first time to Brendan Allen, and I was pretty young in my career. So it wasn't like as heartbreaking. But then I go back on the regional scene. I win 4 fights. I get back to Contender Series, and it feels like it's going to be a redemption moment. And I lost it again. So yeah, it sucked. And at that point, again, I'm like getting a little bit older. I don't know what's going to happen. But I don't know anything else, man. So I got back in the gym, started training for the next one. It's all I could really do.
Yeah, and it seems like with Bellator, they didn't really waste no time. You got pretty much fed to the big boys and everything like that, and you showed the results in it. So, you know, it's kind of like one of those things to where, hey, you didn't have to be with the organization for 7 or 8 fights to get noticed. It took you about 3 fights, and like you said, after that fight with John Salters, everybody was saying, you know, you're right there pretty much fighting for that title. Now, bounce back, win over Dalton Rasta. Same story. You're right there in that category fighting for that title. I think that has something to do with your actual fighting style too, and what you actually do when you're in the cage. I think, you know, sometimes when you have a marketable fighter like yourself, it's a little bit easier out there, you know, to please the fans.
For sure, yeah. I think fighting style is part of it. Like I have a lot of finishes, a lot of TKOs. And yeah, it's I don't know how marketable I am. Really, I'm not like a mouthpiece or anything like that. I got a mustache and a mullet. Apparently, people like that shit. But yeah, it's the Conor McGregor area, and they want someone that's more than just a fighter now. Unless you're like the absolute elite of elite, like pound for pound best in the world. Sometimes you got to do something else. You got to talk. You got to have a look. You got to do something.
Yeah, it seems like that, man. Seems like that. So with the new promotion merging in, what's it been like for you, since then to now? And do you actually see yourself trying to be a little bit more a part of the Bellator promotion, or are you looking at it a little bit like, I only got a few fights left. We'll see what's out there after this contract is done.
Since the merger, nothing's really changed for me. Like I'm fighting on a Bellator show against a Bellator guy. So I mean, as far as that goes, nothing's changed. Um, I don't know, man. Yeah, I got a few fights left on the contract, so we'll see where I end up after all that.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Yeah, that sounds like the answer of I'm gonna get my belt, defend my belt a couple of times, and then we'll see what happens after that. I mean, it makes perfect sense, man. The way that the landscape is opening up right now. But let me ask, besides the organization you're in, is there anybody in this new generation of MMA that you're actually watching and that you're kind of a little bit fans of?
That's a good question. Probably just the guys at the gyms that I train at, man. There's like young up and coming kids, and it's exciting to see that. Like, I'm not like watching regional scene fights really and noticing some young guy there and like following their careers. I have guys like right in front of me that I'm watching. Like a kid just fought his first amateur fight from my gym here in Niagara. He's been training with us since he was like a little guy, and now he's like grown into his man body. He took his first MMA fight, beat the shit out of some guy. So yeah, it's like those kind of guys, man. It's cool to like watch that right before your own eyes.
I mean, not just that too. You got to remember, like you said, Elias was bringing you to those gyms and certain stuff like that. So you got to kind of keep the wheel rolling around, to where they're looking at you a little bit and saying, "Hey, man, when Aaron Jeffery was on top, fighting for that #1 title fight, he was taking me over here doing that." I think that's what makes the cycle of life pretty much keep rotating, right?
Good, man. Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk real quick about Fabian Edwards, man. What are some things that you think that you're gonna be able to? Nah, we ain't gonna give him that right there. Fabian Edwards. Let me ask you: is it off of his last name? Do you think he's getting this notoriety and attention? Because I remember, he had 2 back-to-back losses in Bellator, and people were kind of looking away. And then he got that one win, I want to say, against Gegard Mousasi. And then they're just saying, "Oh, well, if Leon Edwards has the belt, all right, let's go ahead and market him that way." Do you feel a little bit like he's getting this push just off of his last name?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wonder about that sometimes. Like you said, he's got the 2 losses, and he's already like back fighting for a #1 contender spot after coming off the loss too. You watch his fights too, man, and listen to the commentary, and it sounds like they really like him. They like this guy a lot. They're always pumping his tires, and like some of the fights are not super exciting, and they just want to continuously talk about how fucking sick this guy is. So yeah, maybe it's that. I don't know. Maybe they like him. Like a European champion is good for them. Like there's a lot of different reasons. He is a good fighter. I'm not going to say he's not a good fighter, but yeah, it seems like they like him a lot.
Got it. Yeah. And Scott Coker is no longer with the organization. But what was your best fondest memory of Scott Coker with the organization?
Dude, I fought for them a few times with him as president. Never saw him, never met him, never had any communications with him. So I'm sure he was a good dude, but I know nothing.
You mean to tell me I met him and shook his hand and talked to him more times than you?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. That's telling then. Okay. All right. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that then. All right. Yeah. That's kind of telling then. Yeah. I just do media for him and stuff. But yeah, I talked to him a couple of times. But yeah, to me, he just seemed like I thought he was like the people's type of person. But now that I think about it, I've never really seen him like around with fighters or anything. And I just, yeah, okay.
Maybe he was on his way out too once I came into the promotion. So he was like not around as much or something. I don't know.
Got it. All right. So 2024, what's the big plans that you got in store for us? How many times, if you can, do you plan on fighting? You took a fight on short notice before. Is that in the future?
You never know, man. I'll fight as many times as they want to put me in there. I don't think they're having that many shows this year, so I don't think it's going to be like 4 times, but if they want to put me in there 6 times, I'll do it.
Got it. All right. And then this is a few questions about your gym and everything. Who do you train with that's always going 100%, no matter what? Even on the lightest day, it's just like, bro, like just ease up, and they're just going 100%, always trying to hurt something or hurt somebody.
I won't say he's trying to hurt anyone, but me and Brendan Allen have gotten shit a few times for we're supposed to be doing a warm-up round and we're fucking scrapping with each other. So I'll say him.
Got it. And out of all the fighters that you train with, who is the one fighter that hit the heavy bag the loudest, to where you just notice like what is going on, or or you just turn around and it's like, hey, who is that?
Because he's making sounds, you mean, or because he's hitting the bag so hard?
Because he's hitting the bag so hard, like just the impact of the.
I'll say Ong La, him from One FC.
Yeah,
that guy hits like a fucking truck.
Yeah, he was a multiple champion in a few different weight classes for him too. Shout out to him too. He did something that I really respect, man, and I'll never forget it, man. He held up a picture of Anthony Rumble Johnson after he won his last fight. One of his past training partners and stuff. And
he's one of the best guys in the sport, man. He's a gentle soul.
Yeah, man. Glad to see that, man. Glad to see that. So yeah, man, you're mixing with all the MMA fighters. You mixing in with them at Niagara top team. Then you mix in with them at Kill Cliff over there. But let me ask you, because I've been wanting to ask him, why do you guys call it Kill Cliff? We didn't have this gym name like 3, 4, or 5 different names. It seems like within the last 10 years.
Yeah, I think it's just sponsor stuff now. Like before, there was Sanford. It was a big sponsor. Kill Cliff's the energy drink company. I guess they're just giving them more money. So
makes sense. Well, hear me out on this. It could be worse. So one championship, they have a gym called Fairtex Gym, and it seems like they make their fighters change their like last name to it, to where it's like Stamp Fairtex. Another fighter, and their name is Fairtex or something. Really? It seems like. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that'd be like me. They call me Aaron Jeffery Killcliff or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Aaron Killcliff. Yeah. Aaron. Hey, that kind of sounds right though.
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, Aaron Killcliff. All right, man. So we're gonna give you some time right now to shout out all your sponsors that you're working with, some of your training partners that you're training with that might not get that notoriety and attention. And the floor is yours right now.
Put me on the spot. Grateful for all the gyms that I'm able to train at. Niagara Top Team, Kill Cliff, also Aegis MMA, another gym here in Ontario. All the training partners. There's way too many to name. Thankful for all of them.
All right, and last but not least, man. And it showed in your last fight. All muscles do not work the same, right?
That's true. These ones work.
There you go, man. All right, you heard it here from him first, man. Everybody that has something to do this week, don't worry, because he ain't fighting until the week after that. He's going down in Ireland, so you guys need to pay attention and make sure you guys are watching. He's the 3rd fight from the last one on the event, right before the 2 title fights on there. I guarantee it's going to be one of the most exciting fights on the card. The other fight that I'm looking forward to is Stephen Hill on there too. Luke Traynor got a fight versus Jeff Neal. But I think it's gonna be a great event out there for everybody to tune into. And hey, we started it off last time. I think we're gonna get it again, man. I think anybody going night, sleep?
That's the plan.
That's the plan, man. You heard it here first, man. You got MMA Locker Room here, part of Pup Sports Radio. Aaron Jeffries, one of the best Bellator fighters in the division right now. Trust me, when I say this, you guys will see more from him in the future. Until then, make sure you guys hit that like, hit that subscribe. We'll see you guys this Saturday where we go over the UFC card for you guys. And hey, I guarantee you, I'm gonna go ahead and go on a prediction. Round 3. Yeah, he'll finish him in round 3 with a body shot. You heard it here first. MMA Locker Room here, part of Pup Sports Radio. F the rest out. We're the best out.